Confident women move differently, and if you want to embody that, start doing these 5 things. Number 1, stop over explaining yourself. Confident women don't ramble, they say what they mean, get to the point, and move on. Number 2, make people wait for your response. The next time someone asks you a question, pause before answering. Confident women take their time and answer with certainty. Number 3, and my all-time favorite, take up space. Confident women don't make themselves smaller to make other people feel adequate. No, ma'am. I'm gonna need you to stand tall, put them shoulders back, and own the room like you were supposed to be there because you are. Number 4, never match insecurity. If someone doubts you, let them. If they don't see your value, that's fine. Never beg to be understood. Last but not least, act like everything you desire is already yours. Confidence isn't hoping, it's knowing. Move like the version of you who already has the life, the opportunities, and the treatment that you deserve. Which one of these tips are you going to start practicing today? And if you're already practicing them, drop an orange heart in the comments.
Being an attractive Black woman is a threat. And before you roll your eyes, let me break down exactly what I'm talking about, because it's not even just about the looks. It's literally about the way you walk in a room like you belong there, because you do, but also the way that you carry yourself when you know your worth, the way you set boundaries and you stick to them, keyword. That kind of confidence, it makes other people feel uncomfortable. Suddenly you're not just pretty, but you're intimidating. Your standards now get labeled as arrogance. Your boundaries get called attitude. And your presence, they see it now as competition, period. But here's the truth. You're not a threat, but what you are is a mirror, because you're reflecting back those insecurities that they haven't dealt with. Yeah, they haven't dealt with them. So you shine light on the parts of themselves that they wish they had the courage to embrace. So keep walking in with your head held high, girl. Keep loving on yourself and out loud, because the ones who can't handle it, well, the honest truth is we wouldn't want them anyways. They were never meant to stand beside you in the first place. So keep shining, girl.
We're gonna make this quick. In 2022, I started prepping to move to Atlanta and met someone while I was looking for my home. We moved very, 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 very quickly. We got engaged very, 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 very quickly. The red flags were flying, but I was very pressed. I was 32, and I was very pressed to not be unmarried. The time was ticking, and I ignored a lot of red flags, and I just felt like, wow, it's my turn. Got married after 10 months, and then we got divorced in 10 months as well. During that time, I was being drained of life. They say that when you get with the wrong man, that it can quite literally ruin your life, and I am here to attest that that is true. Usually when you get a partner, you do less. It required me to do a lot more, and I was being drained. I started to experience physical symptoms of anxiety, and that had never ever happened to me before. So I started to like have super heavy chest and not be able to sleep, or I had panic attacks and didn't understand what was happening with my body. I was helping this person do everything that he needed to do, but everything I was helping him with seemed like it was draining from me. So discipline went in the trash, consistency went in the trash, and then I would start to withdraw myself from social media, which is what I do for a living, and take these long breaks. And during that time, I would just be very sad and also very upset with myself, because at the time I wasn't sharing any of the truth with my family, with my friends. Nobody knew it. And I was also putting on a cute face online and acting like everything was just butterflies and rainbows when it was the opposite. So all of that was a lot of stress, and I would fall into these depressive moods during that time. And like I said, I was dealing with the physical symptoms of anxiety. I didn't even know what was wrong with me. I literally went to the doctor and was like, is there something wrong with my heart? What is going on? I got to a point where I literally could not work because so much was on me. I was doing everything for everybody, and I couldn't show up for being on camera, for being on YouTube, making vlogs. It just became way too much for me. Left the marriage. One of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, because the peace that I felt after I left was immaculate and undeniable. But in that moment, I thought, okay, we're good now. Smooth sailing. I'm gonna make up for lost time, grow my socials, get back to me, lose the weight, do all these things. But that's actually where the real work started for me. I went through a very long period of having an intense amount of anger towards myself. I felt like I had done myself such a disservice by falling into this marriage. I blame myself for choosing that, for moving so fast, for not being aware enough or knowing more. And I beat myself up about it. The last 2 years since I've been divorced, I have suffered through having consistent depressive moods. Had you not fallen into that relationship, gotten married, started to like change your content up and allow this man to literally suck you dry, you could have done this, you could have done that, you could have been further. Look at this girl, she hopped in after you started and now she's where you wish you were. Like, the spirit of comparison would drown me, and I would hide. And I felt really, really small. I felt like the world was sitting on top of me. I would take these 2 to 3 weeks, and I would just sulk in that. I would watch TV, I would take naps, I would have heavy chest pain. I went and got 2 EKGs and a heart ultrasound because I was like, what is going on? I, went to therapy. I also listened to a lot of self-help, books and podcasts and all these things. And it did bring me to a point where I forgave myself. The one thing that brought me to the other side was realizing that I cannot hold my past self for not knowing things that I know now. And that allowed me to give myself a lot of grace and start the process of healing. God has recently been revealing to me exactly how I changed this season of my life. I no longer will allow this to control my life and keep me from moving forward. Yeah. And for the past 2.5 weeks that I have been actively changing my mindset and doing certain things to pull myself out of these spaces, I haven't had no chest heaviness. I haven't been honing in on negative thoughts. I have had hope. I have just been in the best of moods. We shall see where the Lord takes us in this journey.
Okay, you guys know there are quite literally rooms that thrive off of you being insecure and uncomfortable. Okay, so the first one is to be unimpressed, but not ungrateful. Like, you can appreciate nice things without acting like you've never seen them before. People can quite literally smell your desperation. So if you're in a room, like, admire it, admire its offerings, but don't come across like you're auditioning to be adopted. Do not do that. Okay, number 2, you need to start asking better questions. Like, you never want to ask, what do you do? Instead, what you want to ask is like, what are you working on right now? Or like, what are you excited about working on right now? Right? And then you're going to follow up with, how did you get into that? It's a better approach to the conversation. It also allows for a deeper conversation, and it gives more curiosity than like cloud chasing. Okay, number 3, do not, I repeat, do not overshare. You're not in the room to trauma dump or name drop. Be witty, be warm, and be a little mysterious. Don't overshare. Don't do it. Okay, number 4, you need to learn how to speak the language. And that doesn't mean pretending you understand things that you don't, but what it means is you're gonna have to put in the effort to be well-read, culturally aware, and honestly, you need to be comfortable talking about things beyond like headlines and pop culture, right? So take the time to read. If you don't have time to read, listen to a podcast, listen to articles. It'll change your life and make conversation so much easier. Okay, number 5, which is like my favorite, and I tell it to all my interns, every single intern I've ever had, you need to learn how to hold your frame. Confidence is quite literally everything, and you always need to remember you belong in the room because you're in the room. I was watching an interview with VP Harris, and she said, I belong where I want to go, which is like your energy. Wherever you want to go is where you belong. So be confident and hold your frame. Okay, number 6, no fawning and no flexing. Let me tell you what that means. You do not need to prove your value, and you do not need to stroke anyone's ego. That's not how it works. Just be yourself, but be the more like polished and put together version. Number 7, and my final tip, know when to leave. Please know when to leave. You need to know when to exit stage left. Smart people respect people that do not linger. It is so important to gracefully leave a conversation at a high point. And please keep in mind, a smooth exit is just as powerful as like a clever entrance. And like my mother always says, if you act like the help, you'll be treated like the help. If you act like a peer, you'll be respected and you'll be remembered. So when you're in a room that makes you feel a little uncomfortable or maybe like brings out a little bit of your insecurities, just remember, any room that you're in, you belong in that room. That's all.